Good evening and welcome to Blue Dream Love and Wellness. I am so honored tonight to bring to you the webinar on skin. The reason I decided to do this one tonight is I have had so many people come to me in the last month with issues just out of control with their skin. So I thought it was a good way for us to introduce skin issues. As we know ourselves that the skin is the largest organ on the body and is responsible for not just only protecting the inner body from the environment, but also regulating temperatures and providing sensations. The skin on an average adult human covers about 20 feet. And to me, that's quite large and has the functioning ability of assisting in detoxification. And I'm sure we all knew that, because when we have certain things happen, our skin is what shows up most. So we know the skin consists of 3 different layers: the epidermis, which is the outer, dermis middle, subcute is the lower or the inner level. But because the skin acts as a shield between the body and all those millions of foreign substances that exist in our environment, our skin sometimes reacts very harshly. And if anybody's ever had a skin condition or been around somebody with a skin condition, you know how harshly that can be. We can have reactions just as simple as acne, rashes, bumps, scales, redness, other skin problems. Like, I'm sure you've seen people with scaling skin and flaking skin and thickening, color changes, itches, cracking, dryness in their skins. So you have to remember that the skin itself secretes hormones and poisons that are present in the body, just like our kidneys and our bowels do. So if it does it in a very personal way, and we'll talk more about that, there are many reasons for skin reactions, including molds, foods, chemicals, cosmetics. Excuse me. Has anybody ever had a reaction to chemicals or molds or foods on their skin? You have. How did it feel? Was it pain?
Certain types of laundry detergent, my entire body breaks out in hives wherever my clothes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Jeff, what does yours do?
Just irritated, you know what's weird? I will not get poison ivy. I mean, unless I have like an open cut, I could swim in it and I won't get it. If I'm anywhere near poison oak or even poison sumac, I can't even talk about them and I'll get it. But poison ivy, I mean, my father used to get it bad, and poison ivy does not doing anything to me. Like I said, unless I got like a cut, and I'll get it right around that cut, and that's it.
Have you ever had it checked of why?
No.
The underlying cause. Tracy, have you ever had the underlying cause of why you break out to those detergents? We ought to explore this. This might explain some of it. When we have, as Jeff said, poison ivy, insect bites, some people react to plants. Infants with diaper rashes, parts of the body that rub together get a rash. We get reactions on our skin from drugs, from detergents, from alcohol, from literally thousands of causes, and they seem to be increasing, and our body is not able to fight back because of all the foreign substances. So kinesiology time. I just wanted to bring this up and start with this because there's so much more. Do I have everybody's permission just to work on the layers of the skin? Good to go? Okay. Let me connect everybody. Take a breath. Now, it just brought me up 7 layers when I did this picture. I could not find the one that I normally use, and it goes much deeper, but this one is a very pretty and vibrant picture. We are connected. Everybody take a breath. Slow. Okay. As we know, the top layer is the epidermis, and there is an imbalance there. No one cares. And this is actually, get my legs down here, into an inner child. Age 3. And no sense of self. It is correlated to grief. So we're going to release this. We're going to put back in unconditional love, calming. Everybody take a breath for me. There's something else underneath of there. Thank you. No will to feel feelings. And this is a trauma energy. Self-recrimination. Now we're going to talk about metaphysical changes and what occurs. So this will go into that and you'll be able to feel that. So we're just going to release this. When we are dealing with the skin, we have to remember about how we look at ourselves. At times, we get allergies about ourselves stuck within our subconscious because we've got those two voices, right? That positive and that negative one. And we're listening to this negative one telling us things that we don't really need to be hearing. And we've got the positive telling us otherwise, but this negative one seems to sink in a little bit better. So when we're dealing with looking at ourselves, we hear more of the negative one than we do of the positive one. And I know how hard that is to change around. So when we're looking at that, please stop yourself and give yourself grace. And we'll understand why when we look at the metaphysical. Okay, that did balance the dermis. The corpuscles are all happy. Messengers are happy. The nerve endings, the Ruffini endings are not. And that's a despair anchor. And those are these, if you've ever, has anybody ever done anything underneath the microscope? Dave, Jeff, you haven't? Tracy, have you ever? Have you ever scraped your skin and looked at the under the layers of your skin?
Probably
In high school?
It's been since college since I did anything like that.
Me too, since college. It was, I loved watching skin. I loved watching the bugs. What is coming up at the Ruffini endings is I don't deserve love. Isn't that amazing? So what that face is telling us, that it feels unsupported because the burden is too heavy for them to carry at such a young age. So we're going to release that. Everybody take a breath. Did that balance everything? It did. Okay. Those are happy. The Merkle discs are happy. The root hairs are not happy. No will to support others. Isn't that imagining as we're getting older, we're losing our hair and they don't want to support one another. And there's a hook on that. Yep. There's a pathogen. It's a biofilm tear. And it's terror. And it's actually hooked to overwhelm because we're losing our hair. So what does that say about our image? Is there, yep. There is an image in there. Now, if I can get to the right page, I'm sorry, I'm not like other practitioners and have everything on the computer. I have to have everything to touch. I'm one of the touchy people. And you know what it says? Being a failure. Do you feel that being a failure is part of how we look at ourselves?
Mhm.
Do we live in fear of being a failure? At times we do, don't we? Because life ebbs and flows and gives us all kinds of stuff coming at us every day. So there is something behind this. And it is our root chakra. Because when we're working with the root chakra, when we're looking at ourselves, it's releasing those deepest fears, is it not?
Mhm.
Okay. So that gives us anxiety inside this little chakra. And it's going to the meridian. And it's going to the girdle meridian. So that's right where the root chakra is. So it's yin yang linking meridian, which is yang wei mei. And it's a meridian and the energy going to the foot. So we have a misalignment in the skeleton, in the pubis, ishcampesa. So the ilium is not happy. So the ilium is the bones, the two bones up and around. No will to support others. So we're going to balance both sides and we're going to remove that. It says we do not need to put something back in. Okay. The one thing it does not balance, and it does not say on here, is the subcutaneous layer, which is the deepest, but everybody seems to be okay. The root chakra is balanced. Let's keep going here. When we talk about working with the skin, doggone it. And I just pushed the wrong button. See if I can get a hold of this. There we go. Sorry, things are a little weird when you got bad weather. Okay. So we know vitamins A, C, and D, and E especially play a huge role in our skin health. We already know that. You can get most of these foods from most of these vitamins from our foods, right?
Mhm.
We get vitamin D from the sun. But when you don't have sun for days and days and days, you need to supplement with vitamin D, or you need to use one of those skin lamps. However, if you do not even begin to eat enough of these nutrients to get it in your diet, you really need to supplement, because as soon as our body starts breaking down, it shows it very quickly. And if we utilize Western medicine, not that I'm knocking Western medicine, but it can cause more indications and counterindications than we already have. So we know that vitamin A itself is good for vision, good for the skin, good for the immune system. So you would want to eat yellow, red, and orange energy or fruits and vegetables. Vitamin C, it makes collagen for our bodies. It is good for cartilage, for tendons, for ligaments, and it's made for repairing our body. Now, we all know if you take too much vitamin C, it can tear our guts up. It can cause diarrhea. Vitamin E, it is an antioxidant. It works for vision, blood, brain food, skin, but too much of it can also cause bleeding problems. Vitamin D, you absorb calcium, and you really need that for your bones. You get it from eggs. There's so many other things that can help us, but if we do just the minimal ones, it can aid us some, but what we're going to discuss will help us even more. Now, I like these beautiful pictures. These are primrose flowers. Primrose oil is a very good oil for skin itself. If you utilize too much of it, it's going to let you know in a heartbeat. You're going to get, you can get headaches, you can get nausea, you can get diarrhea from it. Some people use primrose as a carrier oil. It is very good healer, and it helps with other skin imbalances, and it does contain linoleic acid, which we kind of have a hard time getting in our bodies anymore. They come from nuts and seeds and eggs. It does help with increased inflammation, and it is a polyunsaturated omega fatty acid. Okay. Excuse me. Vitamin A. When you utilize vitamin A, I want you to be careful, and you'll hear me say this many times, and I know y'all are probably tired of hearing me saying it. Muscle test, muscle test, muscle test when you utilize anything. Vitamin A, when you first started out as an immune healer for your skin, you want to start out at 2,500 units for 3 months, and then you want to drop that down, but you want to make sure somebody's following you and you're just not going. You have to muscle test. It's necessary for healing and contraction of new skin tissue. Now, I know vitamin B, we all know it is very good for us. You want to take vitamin Bs in your morning. It can give you too much energy in the afternoon and can keep you awake. It is for anti-aging. Now, how many of you have ever utilized kelp? Jeff, you have? Tracy, have you? Dave, you've probably utilized it and not realized you've had to utilize it. It is a very high antioxidant. It's good for diabetes. It's good for many different types. It's very high in minerals, and it does help with skin tone.
Iodine is good for thyroid.
Very good for thyroid. The only thing is we can't get it as readily as we used to be able to get it because the FDA got their hands on it. You can still get it, but it's not 100% pure product. For me to use kelp now, I have to use it in TS2 because I used to take kelp all the time, but you can get it dried, break it down, add it to your shakes, put it in capsules, but make sure that's what you need. Vitamin E, if you want to use it for protection against free radicals for your skin, you have to start out at 4 and then slowly increase to 800. But remember, vitamin E can also cause you to bleed. So you want to be careful with that. You can open capsules and put them on your scars, and they will diffuse. You want to make sure you're rubbing it in good because you can break up that scar tissue the more you rub with that, and it will help break that up. Remember, when you're dealing with free radical damage, it's the way our body rusts from the inside out from not metabolizing our food correctly. Now, zinc is a very good for tissue repair also, and it enhances the immune system. The only thing about zinc, because we use, we don't use capsule zinc, we use little chewables. Excuse me. Just thinking about it makes my throat scratch. It makes your mouth really sore, or it does mine. I don't know about everybody else's, but it does make my mouth sore. Aloe vera gel. We know that you can pop those open and put that on our skin, and it heals magnificently. But it is thick and it is sticky, and a lot of people don't like that. Cocoa butter is very good for stretch marks. And we'll talk more about cocoa butter, but if you do use cocoa butter, please put it in the refrigerator after you open it. It will go rancid. Collagen is very good for dry skin and can be made into a nourishing cream. I get collagen in these big bottles, and a big jar like this will last me almost 3 months, and it comes in a powder. It's very easily accessible. You just open it and pour it in your juice or coffee or whatever you're drinking that morning. I put it in with my shakes, and you don't taste it. It doesn't really have a taste anyway, but it goes really well. But it's very nourishing, and it helps for skin and nails, and of course our lovely hair. Okay. We have, as we know, we have emotional energies that go with everything, right? There's not anything in this world that does not have emotional energies. So we have emotional energies that are tied with our skin. So just think about this. If you feel it, let me know. What will it take for me to release all of the fear of what other people think? Does that resonate with you? Let me read it again. What will it take for me to release all of the fear of what other people think? Does that resonate? Okay, let's release it. No will to feel feelings. So we're going to release that. No will to love oneself. We're going to release that. No will to align with my true self. We're going to release that. And there's an emotional energy, and it's unworthiness. So we're going to remove unworthy, and we're going to put in that you are worthy. You can put that in around your right ear. You can tap it in here. But apparently, everybody take a breath, because as soon as I start saying that, there's a reason we don't feel worthy. And it is an inner wounded child, age 2, of helplessness. And there is an energy of a trauma, complete and utter torture. And there is a vow of I am unworthy, which we will remove. We're going to remove it all. Everybody take a breath and blow it out through your teeth. And we're going to put in, I light the world up with my smile. I am warm-hearted, and I am a blessing to all that I touch. Everybody feel okay? Feel okay? Okay. Who would I be and how would I act differently if I no longer needed to impress or be accepted by others? Does that resonate? There were so many, there were like 70 or 80 different emotional type of energies that are associated with it. So I just brought 7 that I thought would touch us. And it's going to go straight to our nervous system, straight to our brain, to our cerebellum, the vasomotor center. And we have a heart wall. Is it safe? Age 3. There's grief. There's self-abuse. There's hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, overwhelm, hatred, despair, anxiety, disgust, And there was actually a spirit to physical tear. So we're going to put the spirit back into the physical of that child. Allow that child to be loved, cherished. That this child is unique and beautiful and worthy of such love, such greatness. Okay, subconscious did take that. Everybody take a breath. Who would I be if I was not so sensitive? Does that resonate? Okay. It's going to complete and utter dehydration. So maybe the skin's a little sensitive because you're dehydrated. Let's come back out here because there's an energy with this dehydration. I need to be rescued. Everybody take a breath again. There's something in there. Fear. And there's something behind that. Courted into danger of blaming and dread. So we're going to release that. And we're just going to put in valiant and worthwhile. Says that is not going to allow me to go any further. Okay. What will it take to let things slide or bounce off rather than taking it so personal? Do we let things bounce off or do we take them personal? And I've got a bug out here. Do we take them personal or do we let things bounce off of us? Bounce off or personal?
Everything is personal.
Everything is personal.
Depends, really.
It does on the situation, but I'm like Tracy, I take everything pretty doggone personal. So when we take it personally,
It depends where it comes from, too. I mean,
Right.
Dave busts my chops about something. I don't take it personal from Dave, but somebody could say something to me that I'm not really crazy about, that I don't have the respect that I do for Dave, 1/10 of what Dave would say to me, and I would take that personal because it's because of where it's coming from, or where it's,
right, right. I understand that. So when we take something personal, what's coming across is something is wrong with me because you're taking it personally, when it's actually something with them, but you're still taking it personally. So what are you feeling something is wrong with me for? Okay, let's find out. It's an absorbed emotion from our father. And stubbornness. So we're going to release that. And it's not going to let me have anything else on that either. Wow, you're just shutting everything down. Okay. What will it take to honor my sensitive nature without allowing myself to be crushed by the unsensitivity of others? That's a big one, huh? So how would you honor your boundaries when you're sensitive? Anybody want to share? I mean, I'm a sensitive person. Sometimes I can honor my boundaries very well, like Jeff said, depending on who it comes from. And sometimes I'll blast you so hard that I'm not a very nice person, and You know, you're standing up for yourself and you get told that you're the bad person because you're standing up for yourself. Have you ever felt that? Okay. Well, he's not going to let me mess with that one. But if you do have sensitivity to others coming at you, we do need to work on your boundaries. Boundaries is a very hard thing to get to stick with certain people in certain places and certain times because of how we feel about the situation or because we've been pushed too far with that situation and our emotions are raw. And that's all right to feel your emotions, but we need to control them, which is hard at times. So what will it take to attract people in my life who value my expertise and my ideas? Do you have people that you want to attract into your life? Yeah, we do. We do. And he's not going to let me touch that one either. Golly gee. He said it is not safe. Okay. What will it take for me to be free of the betrayals and the misdoings of the past? And he'll let me do that one. Of course. So, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It just was like, of course. So when we're dealing with the past, who are we dealing with? Our ancestors, right? Well, guess who's coming knocking but our ancestors. So it is father's father, 170 years. Tuberculosis, which is an inherited. The feeling of intense oppression and desire for change. The reaction is intense, active activity in order to break free from the oppressions of life. So will it let me have it? It will. And it's saying control me. It's a broadcast message. Underneath that broadcast message is with a spare anchor that people want to hurt me. And there's an emotional charge underneath there of anger and bitterness. So we're going to release this. Everybody take a breath for me. There's something else underneath there. Okay, there's walls of adrenaline, cortisol, and noradrenaline. We release these 365/7 permanently. No will to receive abundance. There's walls of that. We release that 365/7 permanently. Still something hiding. Okay, we're not producing, it goes to the stomach, not producing triphospeptides. The vagus nerve, the enteric nervous system from the brain to the gut is not connected and connected back up due to resentment, which we release. Triphospeptides. Benzoic acid, toxicity, pathogen, parasites. Stage 1, stage 2, which means they are starting to die off. We all have parasites. Some are good for us, some are not good for us. And this one is causing fatigue and anxiety and rashes. pancreas, digestive enzymes not being produced, so we would need to add digestive enzymes. And shock, physical, emotional shock. We're going to remove this. Take a breath, please, or something else. Detoxification needed. And we just went over detoxification, so we won't go over that. Okay. Is everybody okay? Okay. Now, when you're dealing with the skin, you may feel one of these. And again, I just took some. You may have felt one at one time, or you may have felt several at one time. You can feel out of harmony within yourself. Have you ever felt out of harmony with yourself? Do you feel that way right now, that you're out of harmony with yourself? No. Okay. You can be unsure of how to express yourself and your interests to others because they don't understand your ideas. Okay. You also may have a loss of inspiration or vitality to do something. You may also be feeling left out and pushed aside. Okay. Wanting to do more than what you're actually doing, rushing and pushing to make things happen. Uncomfortable in your own skin, but trying to hide the feeling. Sometimes we can't hide that, can we? And trying hard to fit in with others so that you are liked. These are just some of the emotional energies that can be associated with skin and being in our own skin. Now, metaphysically, I have a huge metaphysical book, and I don't know if you've all ever looked at metaphysical type of answers to imbalances within your life, so to speak. So it gives you the idea, the doctrine of where some of this comes from. So the medical physical anatomy for skin is that it's a barrier between a person and the world. It has deep-seated insecurities and irritations that can surface on the skin if a person is irritated or triggered. The skin is a person's physical boundary, and it keeps them safe and protected from circumstances, environmental factors, or people challenging this barrier. It will also speak up for itself by means of itching, burning, or toxins irritating the skin. Have you ever been out and about and you can feel your skin ripple, or the back hair on the back of your neck stand out? Because somebody's looking at you, right? They invaded your boundary, and your skin is reacting, letting you know that somebody's coming to invade your boundaries. It will always let you know, your skin and your gut. It will let a person know that a physical, emotional boundary has been overstepped. So when their boundaries are challenged, it can result in the person feeling inadequate, unworthy to say no and express boundaries when needed. And if we've been through trauma of any kind, this is going to be one of our issues. You try to be part of life and fit into the circumstances that you do not resonate with. And you don't have to do that, because this only adds to your feelings of inadequacy and irritation. Has anybody ever felt that? Tracy, Jeff, have you? I think we all have. Dave, I know you have, especially with what's going on at your work right now. Here are just a few more metaphysical examples. We can work on this if you would like, one-on-one. This gets a little deep. I just want you to think and feel, and at the end, we're going to do a little tapping. I want you to see what it makes you feel. So, who made you feel small, humiliated, excuse me, and ridiculed by others? How does this make you feel? Who made you feel this way during your childhood? And who do you feel attacked or betrayed by? Trauma related to feeling isolated and feeling resentment for your circumstances or influential people that are responsible for this. Exploring your womb stages. A lot of people have trouble exploring their womb stages. Toward whom or what do you feel overly sensitive to? And during your childhood, which parent irritated you the most? And to explore trauma related to being touched by people. When we work with the skin, there is so many angles that we can talk about, and we would be here for weeks. But if anything made you feel something, any type of energy, I want you to bring that energy forth. Did any of those make you feel any type of energy within you? Okay, so I want you to bring that energy forth. Jeff, do you have an energy that it made you feel?
Oh yeah.
David, did it have an energy that it made you feel? Okay, so we're just going to do a little tapping. We're not going to do the big, huge tapping. We're just going to do something light, because I don't know if y'all have done tapping before. So I just want you to, bring this energy forth, bring it wherever you feel it within your body. And what we're going to do is very lightly tap. I will talk, you tap. I will tap with you. But I want you to breathe. That's the main thing I want you to do, is to breathe. So I'm going to start up here. Everybody go ahead. This is our crown chakra. This is where we start tapping. We are going to call in the divine, the higher power, the connection to earth, to Mother God. We are safe here in our brain. We are safe. This energy does not belong in us anymore. We are safe. Come down by our eye, the side of your eye. I can see with my eyes that I am safe. This energy does not belong in my space. I am at peace, and I honor my lesson with gratitude because I am safe. Under your eye, I release this energy from my body. I release it from my stomach, from all reactions, from all boundaries. I release this energy from my body because I am safe. I am safe. Under your nose, any Thing that I smell, with this energy I release because I am safe. It does not make me react anymore. I am safe. Under your mouth, your chin. The words that I form are of peace and love and gratitude because everything within me is safe. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And your collarbone, all the energies that are vibrating through me are now released. I feel calmness and peace and harmony. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And then underneath your arm where your spleen meridian is, my body is taking back over to its blueprint, original blueprint. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And just take a deep breath. And how does that feel? Did that bring that energy down at all? And when we could go through it 3 or 4 more times, if the energy has not come down, did it come down? Do you feel more peaceful? Sometimes we have to do it 2 or 3 times. And there is a whole big part to tapping, but I didn't want to bring you into all of that when you are not ready for that. Thank you. So the human face itself, as we all know, is like a book because it tells a story, doesn't it? Each one of us. Each wrinkle represents a chapter in our beautiful life. Each blemish tells a story of laughter or misuse. Laughter lines tell the world that your life contained humor, and we're blessed to have that. While a drooping mouth says there underneath, this person is so much sadness and anger to your tail. The skin covers our body and reacts to our emotions so that people under stress often find their skin becoming dry, irritated, taut, and in several emotional states, they get completely dehydrated. That's why you hear me say all the time, hydrate, 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 hydrate. I'm sorry, but I will say it a lot to you. We know that different climate changes will also affect our body's skin. I'm sure, Jeff, when you moved from up this way and went that way to Texas, your skin changed. I know when we moved from Texas to Illinois to North Click and then back up this way, everything changes in your skin when you move. So climate does affect it. We know the cigarette smoke can make the face gray and wrinkled, and we know pollution has that same effect, but we cannot get away from everything. So technically the skin weighs about 9 pounds, which protects the outside world that regulates the body's natural cooling and regulating and heating system. We've talked about the different layers and the various hazards to the skin. But when you start to think about these cells that come up, the epidermis we know is the outer layer cells, the ones that we can visually see. But this is the product of the very bottom layer, the basal layer, where these new, plump, beautiful, moist little cells are supposed to be coming up and being brought up. And they encounter all of these various different kinds of hazards, not just from the outside, but from the inside, correct? Because we have them coming both ways. So it's harder for those to get up there. Do you realize it takes 3 to 4 months to get a layer from the little tiny basal layer all the way up to our epidermis? It takes 3 to 4 months just for one little cell to get up there. It's a long time. But remember also that the reverse is also true. The damage being done by eating the wrong foods, not enough vitamins, excuse me, pneumonia, a low immunity can take up to 4 months to show in your skin. So when the skin cells reach the outer layer, they become household dust, right? So remember that our skin is living, breathing, dying, regenerating organ. Age creeps up on us so doggone fast. We carry on quite happily applying our makeup for us girls, and now even for boys, and getting dressed and going out and living it up. And then one day we look in the mirror and we're going, oh, holy crap, we're no longer young. The shock of growing old has sent a lot of people into some very tormented places. And we have seen what Botox can do to skin and to people. There is a hidden behind the scenes of all of this frantic activity is nature's essential oils that have been quietly playing a part for centuries. I was going to tell you a little brief story. I had a young lady, and there it all went. Come on, Rain. I had a young lady, 23 years old. She's very beautiful. I don't know why she thought she needed this, but she wanted Botox in her cheeks and in her lips. And Botox has fetal cells and much other negative, bad stuff in it. And this young lady, within a month, all of this, because it damaged all the muscles in her face, her skin was literally, this all in her cheeks were literally hanging clear down here. Her lips were just, it tore me up. It broke my heart. We were able, and it took us several months because it does take a lot of time to bring it back, but we couldn't bring her skin back 100%. So please think about what you're doing to your body and to your skin, and utilize proper items for your skin. Cellular regeneration is the key to youthful skin. Essential oils provide a wonderful way of doing this, which is far more pleasant than having Botox and fetal scales put in our body. The nutrients and proteins of essential oils maintains like a mattress type of bouncy feel. If you've ever used essential oils on your skin, circulation stimulates the properties of these little oils, and they oxygenate the blood underneath the skin, which energizes the cells and allows the regeneration to actually occur. So treating yourself with these anti-aging oils will obviously speed things along for you if you don't want to overload your system with the gunk that we utilize and we're around every day that we can't get away from. So we know that we can clog up our cells by coffee, tea, sweets, and eating the wrong foods, because if our digestive system isn't working, our skin's not going to be clear. And that's a whole nother subject. So if we want to have a positive change, using essential oils really works well. Now, these are the essential oils that combat wrinkles. You don't want to use every one of them. You want to pick 1 to 3 that muscle test and are aligned to the total wellness of your body. You can get all of these. I think the only one you may have trouble with is Palmarosa. I don't know if you can still get that. Rose is beautiful for your skin. Now, if you, whatever you choose, whatever muscle test for your body, I want you to add the essential oils first into your little bottle. And I want you to infuse them to where you roll them around and let their emollients get regular with each other. Let it sit for a few minutes, let it breathe, and then pour your carrier oil on top. Do not shake it, roll it. keep those emollients up in a dark cupboard, not out on the shelf where they're going to get hot and cold, and dissipate. Be careful with your emollients. When you roll it in your hands, you know how weird I am about rolling and shaking off the bad energy? Then I roll it in, because you could also put Reiki into there and add even more energy to that. And you want to roll it up and away. So one of the little things that I got was one of these. These are for your, oh, Lord have mercy. Drop it on the floor and have it shatter everywhere. This is a quartz. And it's heart-shaped because you can go with different areas. You can put it in the refrigerator. And when you do your skin at night, go up, go out, go up. But putting this in the refrigerator really works well. Or one of these little droppers you can put in the refrigerator. Don't ever pull your skin down. Always go up. You can use it on your arms, on your legs. Bring that cellulite up and out. Okay. For oily skin, as I said, there are so many skin conditions that we could discuss and talk about when it comes to using essential oils. But so I just brought up a few. Oily skin, licorice root, lemongrass, and rosebuds. Now, when I'm talking about a sauna here, I'm talking about you getting hot water and seeping these essential oils into this hot water, putting a towel over your head and breathing those in. You make sure your skin is clear. When you're done, if you can only handle a few minutes at first, that's what you do. But when you're done, you make sure you splash your face with icy cold water to close your pores. Pat your skin. Do not scrub or rub it. Okay. You can also utilize a cotton ball and dab it on your face, after you've made the actual elixir for your skin. Combination and oily, you can use lavender, peppermint, and chamomile. You can do the same thing. Muscle test how many drops you're going to have in each one. For the dry skin, same thing, but you want to add unsaturated fatty acids to the diet, and they are olive, peanut, and canola oil, avocados, nuts like almonds, hazelnuts, and pecans, and seeds like pumpkin and sesame seeds. But if you have diverticulitis or any gut issues, we really need to talk about seeds. They are something you don't want to utilize. For acne, we have a whole regime. You want to use herbs like clover, strawberry leaves, and lavender. And you want to drink red clover tea daily because it cleanses the blood. And lavender is also, when you use lavender, it's for killing germs and stimulating new cell growth. With acne, and you have to work one-on-one because everybody's so unique. There are formulas for daytime, there are formulas for nighttime, and they change every 14 days until the problem exasperates itself. Chaparral, if you've ever heard of chaparral before. Jeff, you've probably heard of chaparral. You haven't? It works well for skin cancer, but skin cancer is a whole new thing. And chaparral is something that you want to drink. It's not something.
That's not the stuff that Rick was putting on his skin cancer, is it? Okay. All right, then I did hear about it. Yes.
Okay. Yep, it was. Ringworm, we can put raw garlic on the ringworm and take black walnut with it, and it'll kill it instead of getting those awful shots from the doctor. If you're working with skin conditions, you really want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of hydrating water. I know I keep saying that, but as we get older, we don't absorb as well. You can pinch your skin. Does your skin stand up back here on the back of your hand? If it does at all in any way, shape, or form and does not go down like lickety split, you're getting dehydrated. You need to drink. Check it several times a day. I do mine because that's how I know if I'm dehydrated or not. And it stays up right here on your hand. Now, if you are the kind of person that has cuts and cracks in your cuticles, in your nails, have you ever heard of calendula cream? No? Tracy, have you ever heard of calendula? You have, haven't you? Calendula cream or oil, you can get it both ways. When you mix comfrey, vitamin E, and aloe vera and put it over your nail beds at night and put gloves over it, it's going to be perfect. It's going to dissipate and go away. They will heal rather quickly. Skin rash on children, we would have to work with the children, but this is what normally causes skin rash in children: eggs, peanuts, milk, wheat, fish, chicken, pork, and beef. Eggs, peanuts, and milk account for 75% of the skin rashes. Milk is not made, produced like it used to be, and they take that fat off there, and it's not what it used to be when we were milking cows. It's not the same. Again, cocoa butter is a really good skin cream, not very expensive, and it helps in reducing skin wrinkles. But as I said, if you use cocoa butter, put that puppy in the refrigerator, it will go rancid. You can add essential oils, no more than 3 to the coconut butter. If you're going to add a vat with coconut oil, you want to make sure you stir it well before it hardens back up. Remember, skin allergies irritations can also be allergies to mold. People don't realize that molds can create skin imbalances. And always, 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 if you're having trouble with your skin, have your thyroid checked. Thyroid are at the bottom of so many imbalances. Now, I got out 5 pictures of moles. You can guess that all 5 of these moles are harmful. Those that are larger than the top of a pencil eraser, are flat or nearly flat, or have jagged edges, or have malted colors like the second one does, you need to get it checked. If it turns colors, begins to bleed, or develops a crust, you need to get it checked. It's not anything to fool around with. Melanoma is on the increase because our sunlight is changing. As pollution destroys that layer, the ultraviolet is getting even too sensitive, too much. So the fact remains that human beings need sun. We manufacture vitamin A in our bodies as a result of it. So the lack of sunlight can cause a lot of depression in people. That's why I suggest taking vitamin D. If you're not out in the sun, use a sun lamp. I'm sure all of us have heard or saw people that have rosacea, right? It is very painful for them. It is often mistaken as acne because it's very similar. It is associated with excessive oiliness, and it seldom affects anybody over 30, but that does not mean that it cannot. And it's very, very distressing when it occurs. The treatment is that, like for acne, depending on the person, there's 2 different vats we'd make up for 14 days, one for the morning, one for night. And it is a very stringent, and we really have to clean up the diet, work with that microbiome. Now, some of the herbs, the oils that you can use to calm it down, because it really gets bad, is you can make up a vat of chamomile, geranium, and eucalyptus. There's so many, but these 3 are the ones that I've used many times for clients with rosacea, and you can dab it on and help them that way. With all health conditions, we have to look into the microbiome. When the microbiome is not functioning at its peak in one way or another, you never can tell where that imbalance is going to show up next due to the toxins within our environment, and they seem to be getting more within our food storage. We need to stop and think about Candida albicans being created within our body. There are several different forms and can cause multiple health issues. This also affects our skin. So the next webinar will be about Candida albicans, because the last 20 clients over the last 2 weeks, every single one of them had Candida albicans, and nobody knew what I was talking about, had never heard about growth in the microbiome, or knew that they needed to take care of their gut health. So we're going to be talking about this a lot more. Okay. As I said, we can sit here and discuss all the aspects of the diseases within the skin, we would be here for a very long time. My books are overrunning on that. When we utilize supplements and essential oils along with the right diet, we can do simply amazing things for our health. This temple, our temple, deserve the very best of everything that we can give it. And by applying nature's gifts that were already presented here for our bodies, it will allow that vibration to ripple across every organ, gland, and system in our body. Remember, if you are feeding something, a supplement, just you think you're helping just one organ, one gland, you're going to help everything in your body. When we use Western medicine, and again, I'm not knocking it, I'm a nurse, but it damages. And there's so many counterindications. And it doesn't feed, it puts a Band-Aid. We want to create health. We don't want to create illness. So I'm not being harsh here, but I have had so many people, let me state this and then state why I'm stating this. Learning the knowledge of how to utilize these products for your body is so very essential. Please, I beg of you, do not go out and grab something because I said, hey man, this is really good for this problem you're having. If we have not muscle tested it, if we haven't worked with you a little bit, if you don't know exactly what you're doing with it or exactly everything you need to know about that herb, pros and cons, and then it causes damage to your body and you blame the product, it's really on you because you didn't know enough to do it. I have had, I can't even name how many people in the last 15 years that I would blatantly just say, hey man, this works really well for this. And they don't even bother muscle testing or checking it out or doing anything. Didn't listen to, hey, Cynthia said there were counterindications here. I'm not listening. I'm just going to go do this. And they hurt their body. I don't do that. We have to know 100% that this is aligned with you, for you, before you utilize it. I don't want any harm ever coming to you, ever. So when we use kinesiology and get in that subconscious mind, it's going to know. It's going to know what's right for you. And then your true freedom of being able to do this comes even more. Now I'm going to put a boot in there. The AO scanner, again, detects imbalances in the immune system. We can actually run a complete scan just on the integumentary system itself, and it will tell you each level of the skin and what's imbalanced and not imbalanced. And there also are homeopathic remedies within the AO that are the skin for wellness. And it can also improve and imprint little seppi dots that we would put on your meridians to help that. David works in a vault and he gets bit up by spiders all the time on his arms and legs. So we print a seppi dot, put it in the middle, gets rid of the bites. It's amazing what this little thing can do. So do we have any questions? I know I threw a lot at you. I hope I explained well enough. We could go over for days on the different creams, shampoos, lotions, scrubs that you can make for your body from natural stuff instead of putting toxins in your body. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. And if you don't have any questions, I'll let you head it out. Thank you. God bless. Enjoy those babies, Tracy. God bless everybody. Good night.